This is shortly after 5 o'clock this morning. I was sitting on the sofa with a cup of coffee and a cat and my laptop, checking out the news of the day. It's how I start almost every morning. And what I found, what might be the most important news story of the week, and it's this. It seems that George Clooney, the famous actor, you can hear me, right? I didn't check to see if I have an audio feed going out. It seems that George Clooney, the famous actor, was asked by someone in the media how he keeps his hair looking so good. And I guess he was asked because this is the kind of crucial information that we all need to continue to manage our lives in this time of pandemic and turmoil. How, George, how do you keep your hair looking so nice when it's so hard to get an appointment with a stylist right now? And George Clooney, God bless him, answered that he manages his styling himself, that he cuts his own hair, and he does it with a Flowbee. A Flowbee. Do you remember the Flowbee? Do they still make Flowbees? I don't know if you can still buy them or not. They came out of the last century, the 1980s, 1990s, and they were one of those, Flowbees were one of those as seen on TV gadgets that got sold in infomercials. And a Flowbee was essentially an electric hair trimmer with a vacuum cleaner attached to it. So it would suck up all of the trimmed hair and not make a mess, which is a fantastic idea, by the way. But somehow, even though it is a fantastic idea, the Flowbee became one of these products that pop culture has chosen to make fun of. So I thought it was awesome that glamorous George Clooney uses a Flowbee and that he manages his own hairstyle. But it made me wonder, mostly because I was desperate for something to talk about tonight on the Saturday night thingy, but it made me wonder, what does the Bible say about how we cut our hair? And so I Googled it, right? What else do you do when you wonder something? And it seems that there's support for both long hair and for short hair. There's biblical support. If you're in the camp that likes to keep it high and tight, 1 Corinthians 11:14 says, "Does not nature itself teach you that if a man wears long hair, it is a disgrace for him?" On the other hand, if you like to let it grow, in the book of Numbers, there are instructions for you if you're in the process of setting yourself apart from humanity and dedicating yourself to the Lord for a certain period of time. Like if you're going on some kind of a retreat or some kind of a focusing thing, that no razor shall touch your head during that period. So you go ahead and let it grow. The book of Leviticus, of course, has rules about hair care. Leviticus has rules about everything. And it says, "You shall not round off the hair on your temples or mar the edges of your beard." And I don't even know what that means, round off the edges of your temples. Ezekiel takes a middle road approach and says, "They shall not shave their heads nor let their locks grow long, and they shall surely trim the hair of their heads." So it seems if you're looking for biblical support for your latest style, you can probably find it. And if you're looking for biblical damnation of someone else's style, you can probably find that too. You know, I'm a bald guy, and I imagine you know that. I have been for a long time. And I wouldn't go back to having hair if you'd offered it to me, right? It's the last thing I want is to have hair again. As a kid, my hair was thick and brown and it was wavy in the back. But you know what? I have a long, skinny neck. And I have a thin face. And so I always struggled through those self-conscious years of the teens and the early 20s to find a style, a hairstyle that I thought was cool. but mostly with my hair and my skinny face, I looked like Beaker from the Muppet Show. And so it really bothered me. My hair really bothered me. And it bothered me that it really bothered me. But it was Christmas Eve. It was Christmas Eve here at our church a couple decades ago, probably 2.5 decades ago, that I debuted my clean-shaven look. And it was an accident, actually. I didn't mean to shave my head that night, but that's what happened. See, I've been cutting my own hair for a while, just like George Clooney. Me and George, right? We do a lot of things that are exactly alike, me and George. But I'd been cutting my own hair for a while because it was thinning on top, and keeping it short seemed like the right thing to do in that situation. And I wanted to cut it frequently, so I bought some clippers, just clippers, not a Flowbee. And I kept it about a half-inch long. And it was easy to do because those clippers, they come with these little plastic guards, these attachments that hold the blade away from your head at whatever distance you want, an inch, a half inch, a quarter inch, whatever, right? You just stick that plastic thing on. And I'd stick on the plastic half-incher. And then I'd run the thing around my head, and it'd only take a minute or so. And so it was Christmas Eve, and I was getting cleaned up to come to church because I was going to play in the bell choir, right? And I thought I'd touch up my hair before we go. And so I went into the bathroom, and I grabbed the clippers, and I turned them on, and I made that first pass up the back of my head. And then I realized I forgot to put that half-inch guard on the clippers, and now I had this stripe of bare skin right up the back of my head. And at that point, there was really nothing to do but shave the rest of it off. And so I did. And I mean, that was my damage control. And so I showed up to Christmas Eve worship with a completely bald head. And I've never looked back. Not having to worry about how to style my hair has removed a source of anxiety from my life. So, I don't know if God cares how I cut my hair, or how you cut your hair, or if you cut your hair. Certainly there are some faith traditions out there that dictate how one's hair should be worn. But you know what? When I look at those traditions, I see that the point usually isn't the hairstyle itself. The point is that the hairstyle either becomes an identifier or as a mechanism to help focus on faith. Hair can be a big deal to some faithful people, and if a particular style helps to move someone forward in their relationship with God, then I'm not going to argue with that. That's fine. So maybe a better question than how does the Bible say we should cut our hair? Maybe a better question is, how do I present myself before God? Right? Do I comb my hair? Do I look my best? Do I put on a suit? Or is that even the right way to go? Right? How do I present myself before God? When I'm going into a time of intentional worship or prayer, how do I present myself? And there are faith traditions that demand that one dress a certain way or say certain things when attending worship, and that's okay. But I think it's more important to focus on what's inside, our attitudes, our intentions. What's inside is always more important than what's on the outside. And so as we present ourselves to God in a time of worship, are we presenting ourselves humbly? And are we willing to take direction? Are we presenting ourselves sincerely, honestly about who we are and what we're about as we're talking to God? Are we presenting ourselves patiently and willing to trust that God's time is the time that matters? And are we presenting ourselves empty and willing to be filled when we present ourselves to God? I don't know. So anyway, that's what I have for you tonight. Just a few wandering thoughts about haircuts and God. And as usual, I don't have any right answers. I don't even have any answers, right or wrong. I just have some things to think about. So meditate on that overnight if you want. But I'll see you tomorrow morning on the live stream, 8:30 and 10 o'clock. Don't forget there's a kids lesson on Facebook Live at 9:35, and the Christmas Bell Concert is tomorrow night at 7 p.m. The Bell Concert is it's an annual tradition here at First UMC. That's how you know we're really into the Christmas season is when you get to hear the bells play. It's our ringer's gift to you. So you'll be able to watch right here on Facebook at 7. You can watch it also on our YouTube channel, or just go to aboutfirst.com and scroll down. There's a box that says Watch Now, and it'll be right there. You won't have to hunt around for it. So anyway, tomorrow morning, do whatever you want to do with your hair. I couldn't care any less. But do tune in to worship and come with a humble and open heart. We will see you then. And until then, have a great Saturday night. Oops. I can't stop the stream without my mouse.